You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. Not so long ago, the New York District Federal Judge of Brooklyn Ann Donnelly ordered that a sum of approximately $28,000 be seized from R. Kelly's prison commissary trust account, in an effort to put together restitution funds which the alleged victims are to share in accordance with the New York court ruling. This caused onlookers together with fans and supporters of R. Kelly to raise eyebrows, for what they had predicted from the start, that this was all about money, was beginning to manifest. It is believed that most of the women who took on the task of defaming R. Kelly, and later on testifying in court as government witnesses against the R&B King, had been granted immunity from prosecution for any of the crimes they could have committed, and were also promised a share of the restitutions if they participated in the defamation campaign. It's now several months down the road and these women have not received their promised restitution funds, causing a state of urgency to have this done. Meanwhile, the government has not yet dealt with Jennifer Bondine's concern, where the experienced appellate attorney told the court that they had no power to take money out of R. Kelly's prison trust account, and that by doing it they broke the law. According to Bondine's argument, the defendant had not defaulted in payment and no such report of default had been presented to court. Government and the Department of Justice were therefore supposed to wait until that time when R. Kelly has failed to pay before hijacking R. Kelly's commissary to take out money, most of which had been contributed by fans and well-wishers. The same government is at it again and has now moved to have R. Kelly's Sony and UMPG royalties seized to pay up his victims, who according to reports are waiting to receive close to $500,000 in restitutions. They are so impatient and are hoping to have this done before the appeal is over. Some people who have been following the case closely think the government is concerned about the possibility that R. Kelly wins his appeal to return home before the women they promised heaven on earth receive a penny. The urgency with which the demand for compensation is being made is a perfect confirmatory indicator that indeed this was all about the money. Once the women failed to rip him off through the relationship, they opted to try the heist through court with the backing of government. Thankfully, the Chicago federal judge Harry Leinenweber was quick to notice the conspiracy to defraud the R&B King when he decided there will be no restitutions charged in relation with the Chicago case. Judge Leinenweber realized the game the women were playing was focused on getting a piece of R. Kelly's wealth and defrauding him further into negatives. For a man who has had difficulty paying debtors, and whose commissary had already been drained of whatever was left of his money, the judge saw no reason to impose more payout demands on him as restitutions for his accusers. Otherwise, we would be talking close to $1 million if Judge Harry had also chosen to be as gullible as Brooklyn's Ann Donnelly. Meanwhile, it's not only these surviving R. Kelly alleged victims that are targeting his Sony restitutions they never wrote even a few lines of a song for. The Department of Justice recently had to deal with several other accusers who want a share of this money in a process that saw one of the other accusers' default win against R. Kelly overturned. Reports have it that Heather Williams, who chose to operate solo, timed when R. Kelly had just been arrested and denied bail during the COVID-19 pandemic to file a $4 million suit, knowing well he would never make it to any of the court hearings as his movement was restricted, and also knowing well he was busy dealing with more serious federal cases against him. Also in queue for R. Kelly's Sony royalties is his previous landlord, who is to receive over $3 million as debt payment, with damages for the inconveniences he had to go through demanding and awaiting payment. Whether R. Kelly's loyalties with his currently muted status of his music will suffice in clearing off these monetary demands is still yet to be established. The argument, however, is that all this should be done after his appeal process, such that the DOJ does not end up taking money from an innocent person and in amounts that the women can never afford to refund. R. Kelly's lead appellate attorney Jennifer Bondine maintains no comment or opinion about the government prosecutors who seek to seize these funds. However, she still stands firm, suggesting the restitution order against her client is so wrong and will eventually be overturned. The tough question that remains unanswered, however, is what will happen if by the time the convictions are overturned, the restitutions have already been paid and misused as expected by the alleged victims. According to Malik, It is indeed possible that right after the restitutions have been cleared and the money is misused, the convictions may get overturned. It will not be the first time these women receive money from R. Kelly and lose it like it was only $100. We know his former hair braider and serial accuser Lanita Carter once received approximately $750,000 as settlement from Kelly and blew it all in less than a decade, when she entered a house sale transaction that saw her lose the property in a foreclosure. She later on tried stand-up comedy hoping to make back the hundreds of thousands but failed miserably. They had better wait for the appeal to get done with before insisting on getting paid money they may eventually have to cough back to R. Kelly. According to Maurice Grant, this is what this has always been about. The money. It's not hard to understand that these people wanted his money and nothing else. In the end, it's the only thing they are fighting for. This was never about any wrongdoing, for R. Kelly broke no laws. In fact, it's the government which broke the laws, focusing on locking him up for the rest of his life. They didn't even do any serious investigations and instead preferred to simply believe whatever the so-called victims said. According to Cobb, the good news is that faith moves mountains, and many times you have to go all the way to the bottom to get back to the top. Robert is a good dude, and the love he has in his heart for people got him in this current trouble he is dealing with. But I know he will be able to make a comeback. The government and many people are trying to destroy him, but God is going to make a way for him. Stay strong, bro, we are waiting for you. Always peace, love and respect for you. We see you soon. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.
He will be here on that date.
I imagine you'll be in before that. Okay, all right, then by agreement to December 4th. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, court's in recess.